on a fundamental level, I believe we all can agree that shit is fucked. Yes?
Yes.
Correct.
And I am certain a lot of people share the mentality, and please correct me if you disagree, based off of conversations I've had, things I've seen on Twitter, interactions I've encountered. Overall, people feel disconnected and hopeless because our foundations are crumbling around us, and the people that we voted for to trust to take care of these sort of things are nowhere to be seen. For the most part. Excepting, you know, Party Hardy in Blaine County. He's probably the only elected official that I've seen actively trying to do something. And our options feel limited. You could either join the Faceless, take part in their barrage. You can join the cops and be marked as a sellout. Sure, you'd be handed a gun and a little bit of power, but what is that going to accomplish? Or one could simply sit back and do nothing. Which, that is understandable, right? If you feel hopeless and powerless, what other options do you have? Even though things feel hopeless, even though it feels like there is no clear answer to what is going on, I think by virtue that there's even more than one person who showed up here, that's a sign that there is better possible. Now, I am not asking anyone to join a group. That is not why I gather people here. Because I think individually, we all have the power to accomplish something. Right? Yes, our water supply is going to be absolutely dog shit very soon. It's probably going to run out sooner than we expect. Same with gasoline, same with many other resources. I'm hoping to propose, with whatever abilities we have, we find ways to support ourselves, support our neighbors, without having to rely on these crumbling structures. So that, if and when it inevitably gives out, we'll be prepared. Because I know there's been rumors about bombs getting dropped on this place, but I think we can all agree, if that was the case, it would have happened already. Right? The destruction that is coming isn't going to be instantaneous and final. It's going to be slow, incremental. The exact thing that makes things collapse.
Brian's puppets are here.
It's quite all right. They're more than welcome to listen.
Fuck out of here, cops.
No, they're welcome. They're welcome here, okay? Because we are truly all in this together.
Die.
No, we don't hope anyone dies, all right? Because at the end of the day, regardless of whether you wear a color, whether you wear a badge, or whether you wear a paper hat at Senior Buns, right? We all bleed the same. We all eat, shit, drink, walk the same. And we have to fundamentally understand, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what our position is. It doesn't matter what our creed is. We are all going to suffer the same if we do not, in some way or another, come together to face what is coming.
What's coming?
Collapse, destruction. The exact thing that we have seen for weeks on end, and the exact thing that we have seen the Faceless and their cronies bragging about on our tablets, on our social media, hell, even people in person.
What if they're right?
That things are collapsing? Or that things are fundamentally flawed? Because I think we can all agree, things are fundamentally flawed, right? I'm not gonna stand here and deny that. Now, do I think that the way they're going about things is skewed and misdirected? Yes. But it is that complacency, that apathy that led us to this place in the first point, right? I could stumble over my words a little bit here, but at least we can agree on that.
What the hell is this place calling with marshals?
Probably because they are interested in what I have to say and what we are doing here, right?
Just want to listen.
Of course, you're more than welcome to. Now, you may be here because you're curious. You may disagree with what I have to say. Now, I'm not going to stand here and discount what some of the officers are trying to accomplish. But I know that there's a lot of people who are looking for another option, right? They don't have the resources and tools that law enforcement is abided. And I think continuing to sit in a place of apathy and a place of complacency is not going to get us anywhere. Even if it is by curiosity, by virtue of you being here, means that something better is possible. Right? Even if all of the power is shut off tomorrow, even if all of our water reserves run out, even if the food turns into ash, the fact that we have people here that give a shit to at least be curious about what is coming means that we can move forward in some way. Am I delusional enough to think that me standing here yapping at you all is gonna be enough to stop this? No! Absolutely not! Words don't have any power without connection.
Fuck Brian Knight.
Fuck that son of a bitch.
He's a demon.
Well, that notwithstanding, as much as I appreciate the peanut gallery, I want to galvanize people to hopefully teach people survival skills, right? How to desalinate water, how to grow your own food, how to prepare so that if and when these structures give out, we are at least prepared so that less people are hurt. I am open to dissent.
I heard the Garden of Eden's already doing that.
Oh, that is excellent. If the Garden of Eden's has opened doors to people, hopefully people are welcome to join. If not, maybe it'll inspire people to start their own garden, right? This isn't to recruit anyone to some grand plan. It's to beg people to not sit back and act like there's nothing that can be done. Because there is. There always is. As long as we are breathing and standing, there's always something that can be done. Because at some point, whatever plan they're concocting, it's gonna come to fruition, right? Whether we like it or not. But it's how we move forward afterwards that is going to matter. So anyone have any thoughts they wish to share?
Kill the demon.
That is perhaps best left to a church for exorcisms. Does anyone have anything they want to say? Truly, surely, you all don't just stand here and agree with what I'm saying, right? You gotta have opinions.
Nope.
Well, how do we deal with a selfish society? How do we deal with that in the current situation?
I mean, something like what we are doing now, trying to connect with people. As for starters, I'm not gonna stand here and pretend that I can change everyone's mind. I'm not gonna stand here and pretend that we're gonna be able to save everyone either, but...
Brian Knight's a vampire. Demonic vampire.
Blang,
I believe it.
Productive do you think that is to the conversation we're having at hand?
So I point it out, that's all.
It doesn't matter whether or not Brian Knight is a vampire, right? He is
I think
just
he is.
yet another man who's trying to do his job in this fucked up world. Alright? If we're going to demonize a singular person instead of an entire system that just perpetuates corruption, then you're looking in the wrong direction.
Oh, shit, really?
I mean, the system's fact.
There's no hope.
The people
There's
in
no
the
hope.
city are fact.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait for the day for when they all roll over for acceptance into a new society. They could you know, they could have damn near well built themselves. But they chose the easy route. It'd be very interesting to see the motherfuckers still crawling back, trying to accept something new when they could have done it by themselves.
We are living in Brian Knight's demonic evil world. And that's just the truth.
True.
Well, I disagree, and Tony, I do agree with what you said, right? There are going to be people who are going to be selfish, right? Who are not going to want to join hands with their neighbors when the time comes. Or they
I don't
may
even
be
think
the
it's
very...
joining hands. I think just people don't like to do hard work.
They don't.
As you stated, people will take a gun and have a little bit of authority and, you know, feel better about themselves. Maybe one pushing others around or, you know, believing that they have a fighting chance when in reality,
Jesus
they
fuck,
just
these cops don't
don't.
got fucking crime to stop.
Nope.
Hell
Zero,
no.
amigo.
That's
Nothing
right.
going on.
sir.
They are more than welcome here. You know what? Tony brings up a very good point, right? There are going to be people who see what is happening and they will take advantage of it, right? They will take advantage of the fact that for the first time in their lives that they feel important and like they have value and they have control over things simply because they have a gun in their hand. But they don't know that the Faceless will recycle them as soon as cow manure is recycled on a farm.
yes.
That is a
Yes.
fact. That is a fact. And anyone
And
who
so
works
will
with the...
Brian.
Lang, do you genuinely think bringing up Brian and demonizing him is productive to the conversation we're having right now?
Hey, fuck that guy.
Yes.
Fuck Brian Knight.
Yes.
I think that's another big problem here, right? We have issues, but we are only blaming and complaining about one individual person. Brian Knight is not the problem. We, overarching we, are the problem.
What?
Right?
No way.
Nothing
You
happens from the singular action of one person, right? It is multiple people making small actions, right? It's people like Brandon Valentino and Raymond Romidov and Carmela Corset, etc., and every other faceless, dick-hopping asshole that decided to sell out our lives and our values for their own personal benefit.
Damn right.
And
Whose
yes,
side are you on?
I did name a couple
Whose
of
side are you
individuals.
on?
Me, I'm on the side of people fucking living. I'm on the side of not having to cow down to the
Brian
Faceless.
Knight's a demon.
I don't give
I
a
agree.
fuck. Fine, Brian Knight is a demon. What does that solve? Genuinely,
Thank
what
you.
does that solve?
As long
What
as
does
we are
calling a
aware that
singular
he's on the
person a
same
demon?
level of disease as the Faceless.
That is derailing from the conversation we are having right now. If you have an issue with Brian Knight, congratulations. You're just like everyone else. Pick a hobby. Get a new job. I don't fucking know. That's not what we're talking about right now. That is what is distracting from what is happening, right? People are willing to go, oh, Brian Knight, he's the problem, or Angel,
You put your
Brittany
fucking
Angel.
phone on mute.
Complaining about these individuals that are in power when it's the system itself that has crumbled and failed, right? There are officers who, yes, overall people can say fuck the cops, but we can recognize that there are some individuals that are trying to fucking do their job, that are being
Absolutely
failed
not.
by the corruption and inactivity of their fellow officers because the system allows them to continue without punishment. Yes, the Faceless is correct. Shit is fucked. Fundamentally, the system is rotten from the core. But do we burn everything down? Do we kill people for the sake of letting things regrow? We are not a forest. When a forest is sick, you burn down the trees so that the soil can regrow. We are not a forest. We are a people capable of change and of rebuilding things with our own hands. Why are we gonna wait until the Faceless knocks everything down so that we can start improving things? That is why I'm gathering people here. This is why I'm hoping we can have this conversation so it's not getting derailed to, oh, fuck Brian Knight. Oh, there's nothing we can do. There's obviously something we can do. And there's clearly people here who believe in it or are curious about it. Hi, I'm busy. I'll have to give you a call back. There are people here who care. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. Now, as I said before, am I gonna pretend I have all the answers? Absolutely not. I am just one person, hoping against all hope that there is someone else who gives a fuck. Because sitting idly by while all of this is happening is the quickest way to just lose, fail. And we deserve more than that, don't we? We all deserve more than, okay, maybe not Normie, but everyone deserves more than what is happening right now. Each and every single one of you. Whether you are filthy, treasonist, disgusting Kiflamer, Marshall, or whatever the fuck Normie is. You deserve better than what the system is offering you right now. What this world is offering you right now. Now, whether it is we do disaster preparedness, so people learn how to desalinate their water so everything doesn't fall apart once our water reserves run out. Whether it's convincing our neighbors and our friends to stop giving in to this need of senseless chaos that is just making things worse.
Yes.
Each and every single one of you knows at least one person who is happy to take advantage of the situation, or maybe is in the middle ground and doesn't know what to do. You can convince them that something better is possible. We don't exist in a vacuum. I'm just hoping to see something more than what we're allowing ourselves to have right now. Please, does anyone have anything they want to say?
Should we start drinking our own piss?
I don't think that's necessarily needed yet. Hopefully we can curtail that.
I think the sad reality is that this day and age we live in, it's easier to join something instead of building it. The reality is a lot of people are probably going to die because they have no creative mind to even come up with a thought or idea of what the fuck to do. I mean, thank God we're having conversations like this here. I mean, maybe this will make them see, but the reality, I see a lot of fucking people dying here very, very soon. If they don't, you know, pick up the pen and paper, start writing down some fucking ideas. You know what I mean? Start jotting down some shit.
Where
You know,
are the
a lot of people
mayors?
here might fucking
Where's our
die.
justice? Where's the body of government that's supposed to run the city? They're gone. They've abandoned its people. And they left it all to the demonic Brian Knight. He runs the universe now. He's the supreme leader. Wake up.
I agree.
I
The
think there's
faces is a
something-
distraction.
I think there's something to be said, right? We are the ones that voted these people into power, right?
We can't vote. You know that? Elections are not allowed anymore. We're in a state of emergency.
If I may continue what I was about to say, they have power because we gave them power, right? We have facility. We have the ability, like Tony said, to build, right? Yes, it's difficult to foresee what is going to be the best option right now because everyone's going to have a different idea, or people are going to be too scared to even take that first step forward. There are going to be people that have given up. That have just given up and decide to sit on their ass and complain about everything that's happening. And I'll be honest, I was in that mindset a little bit. Right? I'm not going to stand here and pretend that I'm perfect, that I have all the right answers. But I am going to recognize, like Tony said, not everyone is going to have a mind for this. But inherently by living, we are all members of a grand global community, if I may get a little woo-woo about it. We're not going to be able to save everyone. Ideally, that would be the case, right? But we're not going to be able to do it on our own here. Right? Just someone like a member of the EMS, right? They can't do it alone. The cops, they can't do it alone. Those of you who may be in gangs, you can't do it alone. Certainly someone who runs sanitation all day, they can't do it alone either. We have become so segmented in our lives. You know, fuck this person, fuck that person, fuck this group, fuck that
them.
group. I'm not saying that
So
we all
what
have
you're
to...
saying is you want us to find Brandon Valentino together,
That is not what I am saying.
and then we put him on one of these trays.
That's what I heard.
That's what I heard. Yeah, let's find Brendan
Yeah.
Valentino and fuck him up. Yeah.
Well, I will
Yeah.
say that there are
Investment, but I
some
do think we should
people
just
that
brand
are
those
making things objectively worse, and it's very clear that you all have individual targets that you want to face. But if that's what you got out of everything that I've said, I don't know what else to tell you. Yeah, people like Brandon Valentino, fuck him, right?
Yeah.
But there are people who can take care of that. I'm talking about actionable things that we can all do, right? Maybe not together, but on our own.
So what actually are those steps that you are proposing here?
I'm gonna propose disaster preparedness, truly. Right? Like I said, hopefully I can set up some classes where we can maybe do group first aid training, right? We can learn how to desalinate water, either by collecting rainwater or using ocean water for those who live closer to the beach. Just those small steps so that when things do fall apart, we don't crumble so immediately.
Doomsday is coming.
True.
There's nothing we can do.
There is something
Cash?
we can do.
Can I ask you a question?
Please do.
Let's say you do all this in the end, and you put these lessons in place, these trainings, and all these other things. And these people that come to you for this, they end up backing down, and you've wasted your time doing this, and most of the people leave you in the end when something greater comes. What purpose does that give you? And is that something you're willing to die for?
Purpose is I tried. The purpose is that we tried.
I guess why would you want to try for all of these people, considering that they maybe wouldn't do the same for you?
Listen, I'll be honest. There's probably quite a few people who think I am a disgusting piece of shit because I am a treasonist, a terrorist, a filthy fucking kiflomer, a cultist, brainwashed, disgusting.
Totally.
That. Who among us, though? I mean, if everyone can stand here and say that their hands are truly clean, you're lying to yourselves a little bit.
Of course.
Thanks.
And let's.
I shit myself.
I'll be honest with myself.
There's a guy up there taking photos of us.
It's not a camera, that's a sniper.
Oh shit.
What?
Not me. Not me.
Is it
The
actually a
sniper on the
sniper?
roof.
What is
There's
that?
no sniper.
What is that?
There's a sniper. No sniper.
There isn't.
It's just a camera.
camera.
Listen, Tony brings up a good point, right? What is the point of all of this? Again, I'm not saying I have every single answer. I'm simply laying out some beginning steps because I know that there are brilliant people here. And I know that there are people who have better ideas than I can come up with. That's why we come together, right? None of us exist in a vacuum. Sure, like what Tony said, right? Like, let's say I go through the effort of doing all of this and then I get fucked over in the end, or it's not worth it. Simply by virtue of trying, I believe it's worth it. It really is. Now, other people might not agree. That's fine. You're you, I'm me. I think there's more value in trying and failing than sitting idly by and doing nothing. Because at least by doing something, there's a chance of something good coming from it, a chance of something improving.
I'll slap you silly boy.
But sitting and doing nothing, that's accomplishing what you put in.
Okay.
Like I said, what I have suggested is not going to be the end-all be-all. I really do hope that people who do have ideas, please bring them forward. I'm not going to be the only one with the solution. But even if not everyone has a mind for it, like Tony. Ah!
What was that?
Oh geez, what was that? We're gonna die.
Okay,
We're all
it should all
gonna
probably.
die. Okay, we're all gonna die. This is a bad mistake. This is a trap.
What was that?
Yeah,
It was
that's
a trap.
I'll say you all should probably get somewhere safe. We'll I thank
This
you all
was
for
a
coming.
trap. This is a mistake.